On 19th of November this year, Khalistani terrorist Gurpatwant Singh Pannu threatened to bomb an Air India flight. The NIA booked him for this nefarious attempt to jeopardize our national security and integrity. Soon after this development, America has charged an Indian national in a plot to kill a Khalistani terrorist, Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. The US has gone a step further to issue a strong warning to India. Let's remind the Americans that while it gangs up with Canada against us, at the end of the day, they are shielding a terrorist who has been booked in 22 cases. Extradition demands have been made by India against this man. A known Khalistani who is involved in brainwashing and inciting the youth who now threaten to blow up flights is questionable in terms of why is America supporting him. The Ministry of Home Affairs dossier accessed back in September confirms that Gurpatwant Singh Pannu was a citizen of United States of America as well as of Canada. While preaching and propagating terrorism, Pannu roams scot-free in US, in UK and Canada. The US is actively defending Pannu, but will they prosecute this terrorist is the big question. Let's start this conversation. Ambassador Veena Sikri, she is a former diplomat, on the show with me. Ambassador, now there has to be a straightforward demand with no dilly-dallying and no beating around the bush by the Indian authorities that listen, now it's well established that Gurpatwant Singh Pannu, a known terrorist, a designated terrorist, is hiding in United States of America. We have demanded extradition of this man several times by the Canadians and by the United States of America. So it's high time US acts on it and extradites this man.
Well, yes, I think that there are two separate issues here, I would say, in this imbroglio that has now suddenly sprung up with the unsealing of the indictment that was filed in the New York court some time back, but it had been unsealed a few days ago. One is the issue of the details contained in the indictment, and the Indian government spokesman has said that they're taking it seriously because there's specific evidence there. And I think this is a sharp contrast to what it was with the government of Canada, where there were only credible allegations and absolutely no specific evidence provided by the government of Canada. And we are still said repeatedly that we are prepared to discuss and look at the evidence if Canada were to provide some. But in this case, the specific evidence is there, and the government of India has decided to set up a high-level committee to examine the evidence, to look at it, at all the aspects of it, and to see what extent these evidences can be put together. For example, today's newspapers carried reports that the person named in the indictment, Nikhil Gupta, the Indian national, who has spoken about some case against him in Gujarat. The Gujarat government authorities are saying that they have so far located no information about any case against a person named Nikhil Gupta. So there are all these things which will take time to elaborate, and the high-level committee will look at it. So this is one aspect of the case which is there, and I think that this will take its time. It will go on. We have seen cases like the David Coleman Headley case, which took place, which was concerned with the Mumbai attacks 15 years ago. That's still going on. Only after many years, Indian agencies were given access to David Coleman Headley, but still the person is in jail and the case is going on. So these take a long time. I think that this will go on its own stream. I do not think it will impact in any way the relationship between India and America, because all the other aspects of the relationship are also going along full steam. They're going along, whether it is space cooperation program or defense acquisition program, and so many other aspects, including, of course, we can recall very well President Joe Biden's participation in the G20 summit in Delhi a few months ago. So this is one aspect. The second aspect, I would say, is the case against the Khalistanis. And I think this is one very strong aspect that India has to take up with many countries, be it UK or USA or Canada or even Australia, about the activities of such groups in these countries. And these groups are based abroad. There is no reflection of what they are saying in India. In India, all political parties are supporting the government on the Khalistan issue, as well as, even the people of Punjab, the Sikh Gurdwara Prabandhak Committee, they are all supporting the government. But at the same time, living abroad, these people are making these accusations. And I think we have to draw a sharp line and say that these are terrorists living abroad, and they have, if the government of Canada wants to give them land, so be it. That's theirs, but nothing to do with India.
We're already doing that. We're seeing a lot of resistance. Exactly. We're not only from Canada, which we at this point of time can handle, but there is not just tacit, just overt support coming in from America. And so much so in terms of pressurization and these accusations that have now been made by the Americans against these Indian government agents. So my question to you then, Major General Sudhakar ji, is why isn't United States of America coming out clean? And if it wants India to be an all-weather friend, an ally, a support system in Global South, in South Asia, why does it have to play these duplicity games?
Megha, good evening. A very fantastic question. Double standard. In 21st century, this is the new normal. And my take on the whole issue is why I totally endorse what Ambassador Ma'am, as the previous co-panelist, has articulated. I think we need to get used to this particular dimension. This paradigm of psychological bashing against India will continue unabated. And India has to get used to it. So now we strategize a kind of a counter information warfare, better it is, in a coherent, consolidated manner. Because in 21st century, after 75th year of independence, India has become a resurgent India, bubbling with self-confidence, showing the way to the global order, a nation which has risen in credibility. It is not going down too well. So all I would say in response to your question is, why isn't the US calling it out and highlighting its sincerity of purpose to take India along by taking substantive action against Pannun, or by supporting India for a rules-based international order? I totally admire what you're saying, but the answer to that question is not so straight and simple. So therefore, India has to adopt a very nuanced kind of a strategy. One, it must have eyes and ears open to what is happening within US. US also has got very challenging paradigms, challenging parameters. There is a system within the system. The State Department doesn't see eye to eye with the other department. Biden is facing two challenges within its ministry. So one needs to understand all these aspects. At the same time, India must take very, very, very assertive, pinpointed, objective approach to safeguard the national interest of India. It is not enough by registering a case with Interpol against Pannun, and which Interpol is not registering. We need to take Interpol also into action. The global order today is surviving on a decaying system or architecture of transatlantic relationship, which cannot sustain any longer unless they call out the truth. There has to be a universal parameter and truthfulness which is acceptable to one and all. Today, the Hamas have attacked the Israelis. They have become terrorists for US. Now, if the Osama bin Laden attacked 9/11, until then, Osama bin Laden is to be actually supported by US. They are the creation of the US. So there is a dichotomy in the whole issue. Therefore, the time has come in 21st century. I think Narendra Modi and the dispensation is actually adopting a very mature and responsible approach. The course of action being adopted by India is not to get distracted by all this. We should be mentally prepared. After Pannun, something needs to come.
Okay, so fair enough.
We must target $30 trillion economy.
You made your point, sir. Colonel Sanjeet Shiroi, quickly a response from you. Now, playing on the defensive versus going all out offensive. We already have a rap sheet against Gurpatwant Singh Pannu. Like I said, extradition demands have been made to the Canadians as well as the American authorities. We have time and again given enough proof that Gurpatwant Singh Pannu is a terrorist. He has openly threatened to blast off Air India flights during the World Cup finals. He has also once again given terror threats on Republic Day celebrations in 2024 in India. Mind you, there is an invitation that has been sent to President Joe Biden as well. So in all these scheme of things, why is it that the US still sits on this matter and is contemplating to release Pannu and give him to India, extradite him to India? And so much so, there are questions being raised as to there was a threat to his death, and that death threat was foiled by the US authorities.
Well, firstly, Megha, thank you very much for calling me for this session. Now, what General Sudhakarji has said and Ambassador Veena Sikri has said, I fully agree with them. First of all, like Ambassador said, that these are 2 points. One is that the claim of the US State Department that Nikhil Gupta is involved in a case where he had tried to contact a person and he was looking for somebody who could kill this Pannu. Now the point is, this is a case and we should not take it very seriously, although Government of India has said that we are going to take it very seriously at the highest level, at all levels. And whereas when we gave a response to Canada, that was totally, we said that it is totally absurd allegations. And until unless Canada gave us some evidences, we are not going to take any action about it. But in this case, we are very serious about it, and there is a reason to it, because as General Sudhakarji has said that we are in Colorado, we are, I'll not say the ally, but we are the partner, strategic partner with Americans. But on the other hand, what I want to bring out is that we have to have now the slightly more offensive policy as regard the terrorism is concerned. Now the Americans, they call him activist, that Mr. Pannu is an activist. But as far as we are concerned, he is a terrorist, he is an extremist. Whatever he talks is totally violent and radical ideology he is preaching. He is threatening our diplomats, he is threatening our mission, he is threatening our airlines, he is threatening Republic Day parade. And if we don't take any action, I think there is a reason for us, all of us, to start learning something from Israel. If Hamas, they attack Israel, they are the terrorists. But if Khalistani, they do anything, they are not terrorists, they are the activists. So we have to draw a line and we have to convey through diplomatic channel very strongly to all these governments who are trying to give this thing. They are helping, I will not say helping, but they are not taking any action in spite of Indian government taking number of times.
Yeah.
In spite of Indian government requesting Interpol to take action against this gentleman, and neither Canada nor USA, and in some cases in UK and Australia, nobody is taking any action on that.
Yeah.
So we have to draw a line, and what General Sudhakarji has said, that if they have a threat, Osama bin Laden, then they can send anybody and kill him in other country. But as far as we are concerned, we can't request them to extradite this person to us. They are responsible for our Indian Airlines aircraft in 1985.
Fair enough.
What action
Yes,
have they taken?
absolutely. Take it head on. Why play on the defensive? Ambassador Sikri, again, the point I had raised just a short while ago in the previous discussion. Where is David Headley? Where is Tahavvur Rana? The conspirators, the executors of the 26/11 attack. There were links to the CIA that had been raised. What has happened to that?
Yes, absolutely. I mentioned the name of David Coleman Headley when I spoke before. And I agree with you. And I agree with both my co-panelists on raising very valid points that the time has come for India to take a very hard look at how we deal with the other countries of the world on the issue of terrorism. So far, India has, of course, been speaking very strongly about it. We have also a big initiative in the UN to have a comprehensive convention on international terrorism. But we've had this for many years, but we know that it's stuck on the very question of definition of terrorism, because, this whole question that was just raised about activists versus terrorists, So this is the whole issue. But I think the time has come, and India has today the global position, the global standing, the global respect to raise this, because we know that there are many countries in the world who are suffering from terrorism and who are not able to raise their voice on it. So I think this is a very important issue, and we must call out the countries. Even Interpol notices are not being observed by many of the countries, including Canada and USA. So that means the very effectiveness of the international police organization is now weakened down, whittled down, because nobody seems to be listening to what they put across. And I think that the whole question of what the terrorists are doing outside India and how inside India there is no reflection of this is a very strong case in point. And we have to bring this out very clearly. And whether they're doing it to pander to the new relationship building up between the USA and Pakistan, or whether it is for some other reason, we should take a very hard look at it. But at the same time, I still agree that I think the government has been correct in saying that we are setting up a high-level committee, which has been set up, and they're going to look at it, because this is an indictment. This is a specific indictment filed in a New York court, and the facts, whatever they are, the issues mentioned in the indictment can certainly be looked at, and we can have a chance to rebut them, to look at them, to see whether there's any rogue element anywhere operating, and whether how did these things come about. It gives us an opportunity. It gives us an opportunity to clear all the situation, to check what's happening in the various organizations' name. I already spoke about the reports in the Indian media about what the Gujarat police organization is saying. So like that, there will be many others who will give their responses.
Okay.
I think we have to take a very strong position on the issue of Pakistan and terrorism in the world, not be on the defensive. It has to be a combination of being on the offensive and saying where within India, if there's any such action, we take action on that as well.
Major Sudhakar ji, why is it that India gets a stepmotherly treatment in terms of how we treat extremist terrorist groups versus under the prism that Americans see Lashkar-e-Toiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed and now Khalistanis? In fact, that entire Kashmir issue has been a point of contention, that even now during the United Nations conferences and meetings and the US State Department statements that and press releases that are released, that the Kashmir issue continues to be raised. So while you will see wholehearted support of the Americans to the Israelis when it comes to attacks and neutralization of Hamas terrorists, there is a different stance taken by Americans, whether it is about the Kashmiri extremists and terrorists, or for that matter now the Khalistanis.
Megha, very pertinent point. Again, compliments. You see, yesterday Henry Kissinger died. 100-man-year-old, being a soldier or otherwise. It doesn't behave well to speak ill of a person who's no more. But what has he done to India? What is the strategy which was applied by him? So look back, read his biography. I would compliment NewsX for highlighting these issues. You see, this is nothing new. We should understand the new world order or the new big game which is going on. What is the new big game? Unless they do what they are doing, they will not be able to put India in position. Therefore, India has to actually adopt a very calibrated approach, not to get drawn in towards or get attracted towards their effort. We should have a very calibrated approach. We must have an agency which should be able to anticipate in a proactive manner. कि पन्नू का अभी हो रहा है, next is coming round the corner is so and so, so and so. It will happen not here, maybe in Run of Kutch, maybe in Kargil, maybe in Tawang. Somebody should be able to predict, carry out the net assessment and give out the predictions, or maybe the Myanmar is a kind of a manifestation and it is manifesting in Manipur. So what I'm saying is the stepmotherly treatment is a necessity for the G7 countries or the Western alliances to put India in place, because these are all strong signs of insecurity, Megha. If they don't do this, they are scared, they are apprehensive that their position, no superpower would like to lose the authority and the supremacy of superpower. No superpower alliances would expect to dilute or erode its status in the global order. They would like to continue for the 21st century. India is emerging as a superpower.
Absolutely.
It is becoming a global power.
Absolutely.
That is the end all. That is what we are planning.
Colonel Siroi, then again, the colonizers have changed, centuries have passed, but the divide and rule policy continues to be, a strong policy that the West is thinking would help make things possible.
Well, Megha, let me tell you, and I will carry on from where the General Sudhakarji has left. Firstly, we must understand that, like you said, that why is Americans, they are treating us, stepmotherly treatment is given to us. Let me tell you, people, they treat you the way you treat yourself. So far, what we have been doing is we have been lying down for everything, whatever is happening around. It is only last 1 decade that things have come up and the nation has cultivated that confidence that where we can today stand and speak for us. So that is one thing. So we must try to be now more assertive, and we must try to project what is right for the country. That is number. That appeasement policy is not going to work now. We should follow what Israel is doing, and I think we will be much better off. That is number one. Number two, I want to say the second reason why all these G7 countries, or I'll say Western countries, they are not liking India going up, because what America made a mistake. General spoke about Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger was a man who was instrumental in having good relations with China. And what happened? Today, China is showing 2 fingers to America. Now, same thing now the Americans are thinking that if we allow India also to grow up to that level which China has reached, and I am sure in few years, maybe in 1 decade, India will reach that stage. So then the superpower or the unipolar power and America being the boss of the whole world is going to stop.
Right.
That they are not liking. So they want to get involved in all these issues.
Absolutely. There are no two ways about it.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.